Today we're going to be talking about how I do my rewrites. The person in Harry's lyrics evolved into the person in my lyrics, which I think is pretty cool. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Bella. Today we're going to be talking about how I do my rewrites, i.e. my lyric changes. This video came about because of this comment. I'm going to read this out loud. Erica said, "I would love to know more about your process with these rewrites. How do you pick which stanza? How do you approach it? Etc. Any information you could tell me would be really interesting." So here we are. I have made a little list in my notes about my process. And yeah, let's get into it. By the way, if you don't know who I am, hi, my name is Bella. I make One Direction content, whether that be covers, sit-down videos like this one, or rewrites, or remixes. There's a lot on my channel, feel free to check them out. Ooh, also, I did mini-series where I both did covers, 28 days of covers, but also 28 days of rewrites. 28 songs, small sections of them that I rewrote. I actually collected them all into one video. I highly recommend binging them all, so here you are. You can watch them after you've watched this video, or before. Either way is fine with me. For this explanation video, I'm going to be using my Falling rewrite. I've already rewritten 2 ghosts, and I have Ever Since New York coming up within the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, Falling is what we're going to be using in this video. I think that's enough of an introduction. Let's get into the process. The first step is pretty obvious. It's just deciding which song you want to rewrite. I find that looking at the structure of the song, so seeing, is it the same thing just repeating itself all the time? Then maybe there isn't that much to rewrite. Is it a very short song? Is it a very long song? Stuff like that can make a song easier or harder to rewrite. Also, you have to think about, are there elements of the original song that you want to keep? Maybe the choruses you want to keep, or maybe you want to keep some of the verses. So stuff like that, thinking about that before you start writing is also somewhat important. The most important, I think, is, do you know the melody really well? In my opinion, if you don't know the melody that well, I think it gets harder once you start changing the lyrics out. The better you know the melody, the easier it's going to be to write the new lyrics because you're not relying on the old lyrics. My number 2 step is, I think, optional, but to me, it's my general automatic way of doing it. I tend to write a lot of my lyrics and a lot of my stuff in Excel, which I don't think a lot of songwriters do. And in this case, I think it works very well because you can have the columns where you have the original lyrics and then you have space for the new lyrics, and you can compare them a lot easier than I think you would in a Word document, unless you obviously put them next to each other. But I just find that Excel is my way to go, and you can honestly do whatever you want. As long as you have an overview of the 2 versions that you can kind of go back and forth with easily, it should be fine. The next point I think is the most important one. Before you start writing, it's important, at least to me, you can do whatever you want, to be honest. To me, it's important to decide, what point of view am I coming from? Am I coming from the same point of view as the original? For Falling, it's ultimate sadness, it's despair, it's I'm falling apart, and falling is used in kind of that sense. At least that's how I perceive it. Do you want to continue that emotion or that feeling? Or do you want to switch the point of view? Maybe you want to change it into writing from the point of view of the person who hurt the person in Harry's lyrics. Do you want to go, oh, now you're falling apart. Like, I can see you falling apart and I feel bad for you for making you fall apart, but like, da-da-da-da-da. There's so many options. Or, in my case, I decided to switch a bit away from the original, but not too much. The way I see it, the way I wrote it, it took the word falling. I wanted to keep the I'm falling again, I'm falling. That lyrics I wanted to keep because I think it's such a central piece of lyrics. I didn't want to change it, but I wanted to change the meaning. So in the original lyrics, it's everything's miserable, I'm falling apart. Whereas for the rewrite, I wanted to take falling into a different direction. Maybe like, I'm falling for someone new and I'm panicking about it because I'm scared that they're gonna do what you did to me. Harry's falling has more of like an internal despair and sadness, and this kind of has more of an internal panic for the future. And yeah, just basically falling for someone new rather than falling apart. And I think once you have that point of view decision made, obviously you can change it afterwards or go back or whatever, but I think it's important to start out with an idea of where you want to go emotionally and storytelling wise, because I think it makes writing the actual lyrics easier if you know how this person is feeling and what their emotion or situation is. Hope that made sense. The next step is obviously the writing. When I do these rewrites, I think it's important, at least to me, to try to keep in the same writing style as the original writer. Maybe not fully, but I think it should somewhat feel like Harry could have written this. Obviously, you can do whatever you want, but to me, when I write it, I see it as a challenge, because then you get to try to write in different styles and in different ways using different approaches, and I think it's just really interesting and really fun, and I think you become a better writer if you try to write different styles of lyrics. Along the same line, I also think it's important to kind of stay in somewhat roughly the same mood. I think a party song would probably not fit the instrumental or the melody of Falling, so I think specifically for Falling in this case, staying in some kind of sad mood lyric-wise was also important to me. When it comes to the actual writing process, I tend to improvise a bit in the beginning just to kind of get the creative juices flowing. So I just played the instrumental and was like, okay, I'll sing whatever comes to mind. And I went, hey, it's me. And I was like, okay, where do we go from here? What does that mean? Where can we go from here? In my brain, it then turned into, okay, what if it's a voicemail? What if this person is recording a voicemail to the person who heard them? I was like, yeah, that fits with Harry, because I kept thinking of even my phone misses your call. So I was like, yeah, that fits. Harry would be, I think he would write about a voice memo, I think. And then I was like, where do we go from here? I kind of wanted to just build out the story. Perhaps the person in Harry's lyrics, with time, started to move on, right? And they found someone new. And they were falling for this person now, and everything's going great with this person, but they're still traumatized or hurt by their person in the past. So now they're scared that this new person that they're with is gonna act the same. And I was like, okay. This is what I kind of came up with. I'm gonna read some of the lyrics now. Obviously you can listen to the full song, but here's some of the lyrics. For the first verse, I decided to go with, hey, it's me. It's been a while. Just wanted to say that today was the first time I smiled. It was kind of like in my brain, it was this voicemail to the person in their past. It was like you really hurt me, but today it was kind of like the first time I smiled, and things are looking up, and I'm getting better. I'm healing, right? Then the next part is, don't think you care, don't think you regret. I hope that you know that you broke my whole heart when you left. For the chorus, I decided to change it a little bit and keep some of the things the same. So, what am I now turned into who am I now? So the lyric goes, who am I now? Who am I now? You made me scared to have someone around. Now I'm falling again, I'm falling again, I'm falling. What if they lie? What if they leave? What if they hurt me the way you hurt me? Now I'm falling again, I'm falling again, I'm falling. So, as you can see, I kept a lot of the original words, but the meaning has changed or shifted completely. The lyrics in the second verse was more anger based. I imagined you were like, yeah, I'm better, and then you're like who am I now? And then you're having this internal panic, and then you're like, yeah, it was your fault. And then you kind of go into this frustration and kind of anger. The lyrics go, I hope you're sad, I hope you cry, 'cause of you and I'm the one who was ready to try. Which is kind of, blaming the other person, be like, yeah, it was all your fault, and I was ready, you weren't, and you left, and da-da-da-da-da. And every day of every year, I keep overthinking how we ever ended right here. In the second verse, you started with this anger and frustration. It kind of turns into frustration because you're not moving on as quickly as you want to. So it's like, I keep overthinking how we ever ended right here, and it's every day and it's every year, what the fuck, I just want to move on. And then again, we have the same chorus, so I'm not going to go over that again. Then between the two choruses at the end, we have, in the original song, and I get the feeling that you'll never need me again. For the new lyrics, I wanted a sentence that could summarize the entire idea or message or meaning of this new lyrics. And what I came up with was, what if I ruin it 'cause I'm still thinking of you? Which I feel like fits so well. I'm moving on, I'm finding someone new, I'm falling for someone new, and I'm panicking because like, what if I ruin it 'cause I'm still thinking of you and I don't know what to do? And then we have the same chorus again. So yeah, that's the lyrics I ended up with in the rewrite. There's a lot of the original lyrics that's still there, but the new lyrics changed the meaning of the existing pieces of lyrics that I kept, which I think is really cool personally. The person in Harry's song moved on from their pit of despair and falling apart and finally started to find someone new, and were falling for someone new, which has now created a panic situation because they're scared that the same thing is gonna happen again. The person in Harry's lyrics evolved into the person in my lyrics, which I think is pretty cool. Either way, that's all I really have for you today. I hope that answered your question. I hope you learned something. If you didn't, that's okay. If you want to see more videos, feel free to check out my channel. I have a lot of playlists with different videos. Go check them out. And yeah, have a nice day, have a nice week, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!